There's something a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with a lot, and that is trying to do too many things themselves. This is something that I wrestled with for a long time, and I still do to some extent, but I'll tell you, the issue got a lot better once I realized there are some incredible online platforms that make it very, very easy for you to get access to people all over the world who can help you with all kinds of different issues. And the one I want to talk to you about today is called Upwork. And Upwork is an online platform that gives you access to contractors and freelancers all over the world. And whether you need to build a website or design a logo or sort through a complicated Excel file or get some SEO work done on your website to generate more traffic, I mean, you name it. There's pretty much an expert for everything out there. And Upwork is a little bit more pricey, but I have found that the people I've hired on Upwork have been a lot more reliable and just consistently delivered high quality. Whereas with some of the other options out there, it may be a little bit more hit or miss. I actually have some internet entrepreneur friends with companies that employ like 40 people. But the funny thing is, every single one of these employees are not actual employees. They're just individual contractors they found through Upwork. And they just hired a person for one job just to kind of test them out and see how good of a job they did. And when they found competent people, they just continue to use those people over and over and over again on a daily basis. And they handle the payment through Upwork's platform. And they're never actually their employees, so they don't have to make a long-term commitment to these people. But for all intents and purposes, as long as they keep performing, they'll keep hiring them. And they've worked with certain people for years. I just thought that was a really cool solution, especially if you're somebody who is still kind of in the startup phase and you don't quite have the budget to make a long-term commitment to an employee just yet. But you do need ongoing help, and you're looking for the best help you can get at the best price. And just based on my experience with Upwork, I think it could be perfect for that kind of thing. And what I want to do in this video here today is just give you a quick tour of Upwork's system and show you how it works and just how simple it is to use. And I think you'll see what I mean. It's a really nice platform, and you don't have to be made of money to start hiring people. You can get a lot of really good help for a really good price. And just so you know, I do not have any kind of affiliate relationship with Upwork. I'm not making money from this. I just want to make you aware of a really good solution out there that has done a lot of good for me, and I think it could probably do a lot of good for you too. So let's dive in. Okay, so when you first get to the Upwork website, you're going to see a page that looks something like this. And there's a couple ways that you can get started finding help. One way would just be to start browsing right here. And you can basically find the area of expertise you're looking for. Like, let's say, for example, if I'm looking for a virtual assistant, I could click here. And I could just start going through some of these profiles and figuring out what kinds of experts are out there, what kind of VA expertise is available for hire immediately. But usually when I'm using Upwork, what I do is I just log into my account and I post my job, and then I have people bid on my job, and then I can basically choose from whoever bids on it and find the best help at the best price that way. So if you don't have an Upwork account yet, all you gotta do is go up here where it says sign up. And then if you're in my situation where you're like a business owner and you're looking to hire some help, you would go over here and say, I want to hire a freelancer. And then if you have your own company, you would click this one here and fill out all your company information and your personal information. Or if you're just an individual and just want to sign up that way, you could do it this way. In my case, I've got a company, so I'm going to do it like this. And then once that's in, I'll just click this checkbox right here and say get started. And then just like I showed you before, if we wanted to go and search for some freelancers manually, we could do it that way. And all we'd have to do is start narrowing down the category and the specific type of work we're looking for. So let's say if I had a legal document that I wanted somebody to rearrange or rewrite for me, I could go ahead and click on this right here. And then in terms of any job success, that basically just means the person's track record of being able to deliver what customers wanted for them. So obviously, the higher success rate, the better you're going to get in theory. So we'll click that. And then any hourly rate, this is really just based on your budget and how much you're willing to pay per hour. As you can see here, this price is quite a bit less than what you would normally pay for just a standard attorney in the United States. I mean, I've seen prices, up to like $600 an hour for attorneys. So $60 an hour is quite a bit better. It just kind of illustrates how much less expensive it is to work with freelancers internationally. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to do this a different way actually. Typically when I'm looking for help on Upwork, I post the job like this. So I'll go ahead and do that. I've used Upwork for a ton of different stuff in the past, like creating websites, designing logos, creating complicated submission forms, doing SEO work, finding Microsoft Excel specialists to reorganize and rearrange my Excel files. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And I've had pretty good success with all of it. So just to show you an example of what you could post here, I'm going to say in this example, I'm looking for somebody who can help me create a video marketing piece for a piece of real estate that I'm trying to sell. And I'm going to include this video in my property listing. So if that's the kind of work I was looking for, I would go ahead and click on this, and then I would go down to design and creative, and I'd probably click on video production, and then I'd say something like video marketing needed for a real estate listing, and then I'd go on to describe further what I'm talking about. So I'm saying I have a real estate listing that requires a video marketing element. I'm looking for an experienced specialist who can help me showcase this property's features using images and video footage, which I will provide, and Google Earth. And then in this kind of example, if I've ever created a video like this in the past, or say if I found a video for somebody else's property listing and I really liked it and I wanted my video to look kind of like theirs, I might include a link to that YouTube video or wherever that video is hosted. Or even if I had the actual video file, I could go ahead and attach it here like this. The nice thing about Upwork is that it gives you, I think it's up to 5,000 characters to describe what you're talking about. So you can get very, very specific and talk at great length about what it is you're looking for and attach files just to eliminate any confusion about what it is you're hoping to accomplish. And that will help people understand what you want, and then you'll get the right kinds of price quotes and the right kinds of people bidding on your project, people who actually know how to do what you want. So by all means, the more descriptive you can be and the more clarity you can add to this kind of posting, the better results you're likely to get. This is a pretty brief description because it's a pretty straightforward project, but I have had things in the past, like when I was creating websites and that kind of thing, where this was much longer and more in-depth. So just keep that in mind. And then what type of project do you have? This is going to be a one-time project. And how many freelancers do you need to hire for this job? I've only ever hired one freelancer at a time. That's almost always the one that I'm doing. And then enter skills needed. As you can see, this one is optional. In this case, say for example, if there was like a specific video editing software that I know they would need to use, I might include that in here. So like I could say Adobe Premiere or Camtasia, something like that, or Final Cut Pro 10. Basically, if you know there's a specific skill that they need to have, you could go ahead and put that in there. So for example, if you were putting together a WordPress website, you could say WordPress like that. Kind of get the idea. But again, that's totally optional. And then how would you like to pay? Every single time I've ever hired somebody, I've always paid a fixed price just because I just get a lot of comfort in knowing what the project is going to cost me rather than just having somebody run up a huge bill. So that's how I always do it. But obviously you have an option to pay them by the hour if you'd rather do that, which could of course work in your favor if they end up completing the project a lot faster than you thought they would have. So just keep that in mind. And then desired experience level. Usually what I do is I click intermediate or even expert. If it's like a really simple project that I know does not take a lot of expertise, then I might do this one. But 9 times out of 10, I'm doing at least intermediate, if not expert. And then for budgets, for this kind of thing, I might say like $100. Or maybe $200, something like that. And keep in mind, that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna spend $200. It's just telling any freelancer who bids on your project, you're telling them, hey, I have $200 to spend on this. So if you're planning to put in a bid for $1,000, don't even bother because I'm not looking at those. And the funny thing is, I've actually had a number of instances on Upwork where I've put my number in there and people still put in bids for higher. I don't really know why that happens, but for whatever it's worth, if you want to just communicate what your limit is, that's your opportunity to do that. And then freelancer preferences. You can say whether you want anyone to apply for the job or only Upwork users or only freelancers I've invited. So if there's like 3 specific people on Upwork that you've worked with in the past and you only want them to see it, then you could pick this bottom one. I'm just checking this top one, maybe this second one down here. If I did have a specific freelancer in mind, I would typically just reach out to them directly. I wouldn't even bother with this. And preferred qualifications, this is sort of another place where you can add clarity to what types of experts you want bidding on this project, or if there's a particular location you want them to be from, you could do that. Maybe if you only want people in your country or in certain countries to bid on your project. And then English level, this is one I could see as being fairly important because I know I have hired some people through Upwork where their English was like, wasn't great, but we could get by. So I would say I would want somebody to be fluent. Again, that's kind of up to you. I don't think it's like a deal killer necessarily, but I know that's been a stumbling block for me in the past, or really just more of an annoyance. It doesn't mean I can't get the job done, but it does kind of get in the way when you can't communicate with ease with the person you're working with. And then screening questions, if you wanted to add some specific question here, if it's a really job specific issue that you want to know about, you could do that here. I've never really done this, but you can obviously do that if you want. And then cover letter, if you don't add any questions, then they're just going to automatically tell everybody to include a cover letter when they submit their bid. So once that's done, you can go ahead and click preview and just get the overview of what you are asking for. If everything looks good, you can just go ahead and click post job. And then once that email address is verified, it's basically going to take at least a few hours before you start getting lots and lots of bids. So what I'm going to do here, I'm recording this right now at 10 in the morning. I'm going to come back later this afternoon and we will take a look at what kinds of bids we've got, and we'll just kind of get an idea for what types of contractors and freelancers are interested in doing this work for us. So I'll be back to you in just a second. Okay, so it's literally just been 1 hour. I was planning on having to wait a little bit longer than this, but it's been 1 hour and I've already got 11 applicants here for this project. So let's go ahead and click on these and just take a look at what we have available. And as you can see here, some of the prices we're seeing, $100 all the way up to $250. We can click on show more, get some other options here. And really, in terms of deciding who you want to work with here, probably the things that I would be looking at are their experience and maybe their portfolio of work, just to get an idea for what types of other projects they have worked on in the past. We can take a look at this guy right here, just see some of his experience, get a look at some of his past reviews from other people who have worked with him. Looks like he's got a pretty good track record. This is his portfolio here. Not really seeing a lot of video stuff, so I guess that might be one determination that might make me say no to this guy, simply because it looks like a lot of his other stuff is more like images, not necessarily video. And that's probably why his quote is only for $100, not $200, because perhaps he's just not as experienced in this area. And this is all just purely me guessing based on what I'm seeing here. So we can go ahead and click on, let's check out this guy here. Let's scroll down here a little bit. So let's go ahead and click on this. So it looks like this is just a list of some of the previous videos that he's made for other clients. So let's just go ahead and click on this one and see what this looks like.
Thought I'd never believe, shot down in a fit of passion, taking more than you need, walked for.
So as you can see, it's looks like it's pretty good quality work. It's not exactly the kind of video that I'm trying to do, but it at least gives me an idea for the kinds of quality this person's capable of. So I guess that's somewhat helpful. And again, this probably would have been more helpful if I had a specific example that I wanted my video to look like that I could have shown, because then I may have gotten more targeted bids from people who do exactly what I'm trying to do. Again, it's only been an hour since I posted this, so we could always go back and check out some other people as well. Let's check out this one here. And let's see, it looks like this person's from the good old US of A. Let's check out her YouTube channel, see if there's anything good here. There we go. This looks like some more specific real estate stuff.
These are exquisite truss beams that are underlit with accent lighting so that you can create mood and ambiance, be it day
Nice.
or night.
Okay.
You have
So this particular person looks like they kind of have experience doing pretty much exactly what I'm trying to do. And granted, I would have to provide this kind of footage to her. I'm guessing she wouldn't come out to my property and shoot this. I'd have to kind of provide it and then she would put it all together. But that's just a really good example of, all you have to do is take a look through a person's demo reel or some of their previous videos and get an idea for what they can do. Let's take a look at this other one here. Okay, now what we're seeing here is like drone footage. I don't even have a drone, so I couldn't provide this. Basically any footage that I would have of the property, whether it's me just walking through it or if I hired somebody from a site like We Go Look to go through and take some video footage for me. I could send basically everything I've got to this person and they would splice it all together and add these fancy little things at the bottom. Anyway, just kind of gives you an idea. Honestly, I would be very interested in working with this person just because from the few seconds I've spent looking at their information, it looks pretty much in line with the type of video I'm trying to create. I don't see a lot of stuff with Google Earth in here, but that may not necessarily be a deal breaker. Again, I could look at other people, but it really just gives you an idea for the kinds of price ranges you'll see here and the types of talent that will come out and bid on your project. And it really gives you just a nice selection to choose from and a lot of information that you can look at to understand who you're hiring before you hire them. And just to kind of give you an idea for what the communication process looks like, I'm going to show you the back and forth discussion that I had with a freelancer from Upwork just a few months ago when they were creating a submission form for my website. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So this guy put together a submission form for me for a total of $60. That was because it was originally $50, but I tipped him an extra $10 when it was all done. Let's take a look at our messages back and forth just so we can kind of get an idea of what we talked about. And as you can see, it's really just a lot of back and forth between me and him, and it's all in writing. I never actually talked to this guy verbally once. It was just purely in this type of written format, and we could send files to and from each other. But it was really a good experience. He did a really good job. He was a very good communicator, and I'm still using the form he created on my site to this day. So it's been a really good fit, and it was only, $50-$60 for me to do this. And first of all, I never could have done this on my own. Like I just don't have the skills needed to do it. And even if I did, it probably would have taken me way longer. And just in terms of the cost of my time, it would have been crazy how much more it would cost if I just tried to do this all on my own. So anyway, hopefully that's a helpful overview of how Upwork works. And if you're having any issues with projects that you just don't know how to pull off on your own, I wouldn't hesitate for a second to go and check out this website. I know it's been really helpful for me, and it can probably be really helpful for you too. And again, I'm not an affiliate of Upwork in any way, so I'm not making any money from this. I just want to make you aware of a really good service out there. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Hopefully you found that helpful, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.